The second decade commenced with another branch of the foundation opening in Bunbury. Research continued under the guidance of Dr. Kevin Turner. Our swimming program expanded and a more professional approach to the management of the organisation was being pursued. A new home was proposed for asthma, Subiaco, the choice of location. It was also time to recognise the efforts of those who'd set the foundation for future success.
My daughter had very, very bad asthma. Because of the asthma swim program, I encouraged my daughter to join.
As the clinical immunology unit grew in size, it became necessary to secure additional funding.
The foundation kept me going and in fact funded 4 of our research projects between 1973 and 1981.
My first publication was when I was acting as a junior doctor at the asthma camp. We published a paper in the Medical Journal of Australia, which was very popular at the time.
The 1970s, I thought, was the time when the foundation really established itself as a more complete organisation.
The Asthma Foundation had the good luck to find Barry Ruby.
We were presented with an enormous challenge to try and get this organisation up to where it would be as effective enough and responsive enough to our enormous constituents out there.
Barry Ruby was instrumental in getting us more on a professional footing.
So we were a very small organisation, very little money. More unfortunately than lack of money was the lack of real recognition in the community, lack of credibility with general practitioners. And they became the challenges that I recognised immediately. They had to lift our profile and get us better known.
After working from borrowed rooms here and there, we were able to get our first real premises in Heytesbury Road in Subiaco. At the same time, we couldn't exist without money. So we had to involve ourselves in fundraising exercises.
Fundraising was a lot of fun in those days.
We had a Garn of the Year.
The Garns would come from Melbourne, and there was no trouble selling tickets to that event. It was a very grand event.
Raffles were a big thing for the volunteers, to be selling raffles in the shopping centres, and we used to raffle a car every year, and that was our big thing at the time.
And while we're sitting on the car, we often came across people with asthma who need education, and we encouraged them to contact the foundation and use the free educational courses we had for them available.
And the Pro-Am tennis tournaments, and a aerobathon, and events such as Time to Breathe campaign. And probably the greatest feature of those years was when I was able to get established a regular Asthma Week activity. First time we attempted this in Australia. It was wonderful to see the banners lining St George's Terrace announcing Asthma Week, all of which generated quite a bit of contact with people, quite a bit of money and recognition, which, as I say, was the thing we had to achieve.
We found that there was still a lot of inappropriate treatment. Children were still having lots of symptoms. They were going from crisis to crisis, and better management was needed.
There was a great gap of lack of experience and knowledge among asthma sufferers and their carers in just what to do at home. The GP only took them so far, and there was this hole in the middle, and it was recognised that we had to fill that gap somehow.
While asthma had been around for a long time, it hadn't been well communicated with people. People were keen to know more. We held several forums in theatres around Perth, which attracted packed houses, where we had doctors and researchers taking questions from the people.
Research had established that swimming would help in managing the condition, and raising awareness of the disease had begun. Support was growing, but deaths from asthma were increasing. The challenge was evident, and a greater effort was required.